In this video, I'm going to talk about the state of the market, why crypto is going up right now, and what you should be doing exactly at this moment. So looking at this chart, you see the past day and past week, past month, we have been going up, right? Basically, all of your coins are up in the green. What does that mean and why is this happening? If you guys remember, September is historically the worst month for Bitcoin, but right now it is actually one of the better months we've had this year. This may be very surprising for a bunch of people because people expected that Bitcoin was going to have a very stagnant period in September, and we're going to see those rallies maybe in October, November, and December. But it looks like right now Bitcoin is making a push in September to go back and retest its all-time highs. And if you guys remember in the last video that I made, I told you guys that Bitcoin is directly correlated to global liquidity. Well, the major catalyst that has changed from the time that I made that video to now is the fact that the Fed slashed interest rates by 50 basis points, right? So this happened on September 18th, so a few days ago. And basically a rate cut allows relief, right, through lower borrowing costs for consumers and businesses alike. So what that does is it returns liquidity into the markets, and it directly correlates to the rise in global liquidity. So these things are hand in hand. As you guys know, global liquidity is tied to the price of Bitcoin. And what happens when global liquidity goes up? Well, you have an increase in capital to invest, right? You have a hedge against inflation. That's why a lot of risk on assets, such as Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is the greatest risk on asset, right? It is the most risk, the most reward. That means those assets are going to be more popular during this time. So people invest in slightly riskier assets. So there's a lot of speculation and risk taking during this time. And people during this time tend to diversify. So they tend to diversify away from maybe their savings accounts, maybe their money markets, maybe their ETFs, and they go into slightly riskier assets like Bitcoin and like crypto. So I hope that gives you a good general understanding of why right now the Fed rate cuts are affecting the markets. And in my opinion, combine that with the fact that the election is coming up, right? Historically, elections have been very, very good to the price of these on-risk assets. And also the fact that right now we are in still a major area of opportunity, right? We're still in the green. We are still in the massive buy zone, as you can see right here, or accumulate zone. And people see opportunity in that, right? And people are front running what is essentially a massive opportunity for Bitcoin. And all of those factors lead me to think that we will achieve a Bitcoin all-time high by either late 2024 or early 2025, and altcoin season will come right after that. Let's take a second to look at the Bitcoin chart because there are some very, very interesting things going on right now. So as you can see, this is main resistance. This is kind of that 70 to 74K range that we can't seem to break. So right now, as you can see, we are hitting this resistance point, this resistance zone right here. Now, what happens from here is going to determine exactly what happens in the rest of 2024, in my opinion. So as you can see, we've been oscillating up and down, and recently we've been oscillating across this channel, right? Across basically this $56,000 to $64,000 range. And if this was a few weeks ago when we didn't have the rate cut yet, then I would say, okay, we're hitting this range and we're probably going to dip back down again, once again to this support zone down here around 55 to 57K, right? That seems like a reasonable guess, or maybe even a little bit lower down to this 52K range, right? That's what we've been doing for the past couple of months. But in my opinion, we could see something different, right? We could still see a dip back down into this support range, but I believe we are making a push back to main resistance, right? That is the ultimate goal right now. And if we see an early push to main resistance, I can definitely see a scenario where we break out of main resistance and go on an early bull run around December or the beginning of January 2025. So for the sake of this video, I will call this scenario 1. Now the second scenario I can see us doing is going to be similar, but a more delayed reaction for the price of Bitcoin, right? So I could see us oscillating in this channel for a bit, potentially dipping back down again into this main support zone. I don't think we're ever going to break the support zone. I believe we will continue oscillating in this channel, continue dipping down, and then having one massive dip that kind of rinses out a lot of people, and then start climbing back up again, and then having kind of a late bull run, maybe in the middle of next year. So maybe in June, July, August of next year, I believe something like this could happen. So we'll call this scenario 2. Now, there's also a third scenario, and I don't think this scenario will happen, but there's always a small chance of this happening, and that is we don't get a bull run, which in my opinion is very, very unlikely. But what that would look like is we would continue kind of trending downwards, right? We'd be making lower highs and lower lows, and eventually we break out of this main support zone and then go into other support zones and then continue breaking those as well. And we just kind of keep going downwards all the way through 2025. And basically in this scenario, this point right here would have been our peak. I don't think this is going to happen, right? Because not only of global liquidity, of interest rates, but also just the fact that right now there are Bitcoin ETFs, right? A lot of institutions are buying. I don't think this is going to happen. So these are the three scenarios. I think most likely we're going to get somewhat of a combination between 1 and 2, right? I don't think we're going to get an immediate 1 right now, but that can definitely happen, right? I would give 1 maybe like a 30% chance of happening. I'd give 2 maybe like a 50 to 60% chance of happening, and then 3 is probably a 10% chance of happening, right? 3 can still happen, but in today's environment, I think it is a pretty low percentage. Let's also take a look at Bitcoin dominance. Bitcoin dominance determines when altcoin season begins, and it is a very important indicator that all of you should know and all of you should study. As you can see right now, Bitcoin dominance is definitely trending up. We recently had another pump in Bitcoin dominance, and basically what Bitcoin dominance means is that it is the percentage of market share that Bitcoin has over the entire crypto market. So whenever Bitcoin dominance is very, very high, that means more people, more money is in Bitcoin. And whenever you see these massive, massive drops in Bitcoin dominance, as we did in 2021, that is actually when altcoin season fully begins. And that's when you see all of your altcoins pump, 20, 30, 40% in one day. And that is exactly what's going to happen this cycle, right? Whenever we see this, a massive drop in Bitcoin dominance, and it will be pretty obvious. This range right here is going to be your altcoin season, and you want to be in all of your altcoin positions well before this period. So right now, Bitcoin is the strongest coin right now on the market, right? It is gaining the most market share. It is increasing its market share as we speak. But once we see this drop, that's when altcoins start gaining the market share and start gaining the public interest. So what should you be doing right now? Well, in my opinion, there are 3 things you should be doing. One is diversifying and having a position in Bitcoin, right? I believe that having a position in Bitcoin during this time is one of the most important things that you should be doing. Bitcoin right now is gaining dominance, and it is going to be the front runner for all of your cryptos, right? I believe Bitcoin will still be one of the best performing coins going into 2025. Having Bitcoin in your portfolio is going to save your portfolio when we do get those rough times. If 1 and 2 never happen, and if all we get is 3 at the end of the day, right, Bitcoin is going to be the best performing out of all of your altcoins. The second thing is DCAing into high confidence alts, right? What do I mean by high confidence alts? Well, these are altcoins that you've done a lot of research in, and more importantly, you should only have a few of these altcoins, right? You shouldn't have 20 different altcoins in your portfolio. Consolidation is your best friend in today's environment. Quality over quantity, right? You want to have 3 to 4 really, really good altcoins versus having 20, good and maybe some subpar and then some moonshot altcoins, right? You don't want an entire portfolio full of meme coins. A lot of people have made that mistake during this cycle. They bought a lot of meme coins maybe back in March, back in April, and right now they're suffering the consequences because yes, some of those meme coins are doing well, right? Meme coins like Turbo and Brett, but then you have a lot of your other meme coins that are down 95%. So just be smart in today's environment. You should be valuing risk mitigation over anything. I know the 50x, 100x is very, very appealing to you, but the chance of that happening is low. And one more thing, who you listen to is very, very important, right? Online, there's many, many people, there's a lot of scammers, people telling you, hey, listen to me and you'll get, 50x, 100x picks, and you'll make a lot of money, right? Those people are not the ones to trust, right? You should never, ever, ever blindly follow someone's opinion, right? Always do your own research. I am not a financial advisor, but I am here to provide you guys with an unbiased view on crypto, and I hope that this video helps. That's gonna be it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next one.